morning, my name is Brian and I'm doing it for my final year project. I choose the word memories because I think that all that happened to us is just remain in ourselves like memories. If you go down here, that's my proposal. My first idea for my final major project was to take a picture of someone in the 40s, dressing out like a 40s, and with a soldier had of blood in their hands because of the World War II that was happening at the moment. But because of costumes that was hard to get, models that was hard to get, and some other trouble that I have in the process, I changed the whole idea just to take pictures of someone dressing like the 40s, presenting the culture that was at the time and the outfits. If you go more down there, you can see my storyboard that was just pretty rough on how I wanted to do it, how I wanted to take the portrait pictures and the landscape ones. If you go more down, you can see the mood board when I choose to use Philip Hosman as a base of my work because he was a pretty interesting portrait photographer in the 40s, 50s. He used to take pictures of famous people, portrait. One of the most famous that we know of him was the Dali one. We take pictures of Salvador Dali, famous artist, and the other one that is in the book, that is a Frenchman, when he just takes pictures of the Frenchman with different face expressions and they represent what is happening with him. If you move to the second slide, I choose to do the Philip Wilson, a war photographer at the time. He went to the Vietnam War, he was American, and he showed to the world what was happening in Vietnam and the war. If you go to the next slide, I just choose the examples of the galleries that I wanted to have as a base of mine. I choose the photographer gallery that is down in Oxford Circus. I've been there, I like how they show the work, and that's why I wanted to use it as an example. You go to the next one, I just use the propaganda that was used at the time to have a base of how they used to sell the idea to people of that war, fighting the enemy was good. In the next slide, I choose the locations that I was going to use for the shoot. Of course, I didn't have the opportunity to go in a studio and do the low-K photography, so I have to improvise it by buying a large tape and using some A4 black paper as background. I also choose to do in the Tower of London, Tower Hill Memorial, and Tower Bridge because they are iconic places that represent London. And in the last slide, I just use the outfits, the hairstyles that were used in the shoot. If you go to the website, I created a whole website just to show my final major project because I thought it would be more presentable. That's the pictures that I choose to edit it and develop. I take 243 pictures, but I managed to just choose 20 of them and develop them. You can tell how the outfit is from the 40s. The face of the model that I want to capture is just the expressions and the feelings that they have in that time, just being involved in war, not being in there but having close friends, family, going into that process. And if you go to the exhibition part, is where I develop all the pictures. If you go and press on any picture, I choose to do it in black and white because it wasn't Philip Hosman style. I developed it in Lightroom to give it some more contrast and play around with the saturation of the picture. I create this picture using some filters as well to give it this kind of odd style of pictures. If you go to the left, yeah, right as well. I choose this one of my standards of my work because I think it's how I reflect the model, the river, Thames, and the Tower Bridge, and I think it's just reflecting how it was at the time.
What would be really nice is if you could talk so we can see all the work, the exhibition?
Like, do you see
You know, you've got the tiles
Yeah.
where you could click on. Are there any others, if we click on, that you'd like to show us?
Maybe the middle one. So, yeah. I decided to use this picture just to saturate the colors and highlight them to show more, create a bigger impact at the time. This is my own style of editing. I just explode the picture in black and white and highlight the colors to kind of create a different technique in the editing process.
Lovely. And could you talk us through what challenges and what things you were able to sort of learn from the process?
I struggle with the portrait pictures because of COVID. I don't know what's happening at the moment. I didn't have the chance to go to the studio the first time, so I just managed to improvise a little studio in my house, getting some black paper as background, improvise a light, changing the settings on the camera to kind of create the low-key style of photography. I kind of struggled with the outfit of the model. It was hard to get everything from the 40s, the hairstyle. We were planning to do the double Victoria rolls, but it didn't work out, so we just improvised and didn't how it come out.
And did you feel that you were able to learn a lot from having to use your initiative?
I feel like I learn a lot solving the kind of problems I have in the process.
Well done, well done. Right, lovely, thank you very much. So I'm saving your recording.
Put the towel back on it. It's upside down.
Why upside down?